Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the live. My name is Sherelle, for those of you that may not know, with Project Purpose Podcast. And I am happy to be joined today with my sister, friend, and psychologist, Dawn Smith. And this is Friday Connect, right, Dawn?
Yes, absolutely.
How are you doing today, Dawn? You look lovely, by the way.
Thank you. I am doing incredible.
That's good. Good to hear. So, this is our Friday Connect. We are planning on doing this every Friday around this time, right? 7 p.m. Eastern
Yeah.
Standard Time. And we're here just to talk about money, right? Today, we want to talk
Hmm.
about Today, we want to talk about why money triggers so much stress, right? But going forward, the main topic will be on money, which I'll be sharing some tips, right, based on personal experiences as well as research. And
Yeah.
Dawn, who is the psychologist, will be leaning towards that side and share with us the psychology of it all, right? The emotions of it all get into our minds and maybe help us to get out of our minds and get into action mode and also gain courage. So if you are seeing this live, I hope that you can hear us okay. If you're seeing this live, go ahead and start the chat, right? Tell us where you're viewing it from. Also, if you have questions, which hopefully as you get into it, you will, go ahead and leave them for Dawn.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm
And
trying to see where the live is so I could probably share it on other places.
it, it should definitely be on my Facebook at least. Maybe it's taken a while to come up.
Okay.
Make sure your volume is down on your phone. It is on my page. So if you go to Sherelle Mohammed, and it
Oh,
should
look at me.
also be on Soulful Serenity too.
Serenity. All right.
Mhm.
So let me take a look at that. And I'm one of those that still trying to learn
Learn
social media.
social media.
Yes, yes, yes.
We all
But
are
no,
still doing it.
this, yes, I don't know. I keep ending up in Instagram, but I need to go to Facebook and then let's see. Um, okay, here we go. Soulful Serenity, and it's live. Yes, for sure. All right, guys. Okay, great. So now I'm going to share this link. Perfect. And guys, if you're seeing us, just go ahead and share the link with your friends and your family, and let's have a great conversation about this.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I've invited a few family members. I do hope that they will get on here and we can just enjoy. It's going to be about an hour or so of our time, so we can enjoy that and talk about it. So,
Yes, yes.
did you had a good day?
I really, really had a great day. It was full. Jamaica is in the heat of elections. Last night was the debate, which was very
Okay.
interesting. I wish I was a economist and was able to speak on the debate, but unfortunately I'm not. So I'm still digesting bits and pieces of the debate. But so, of course, right now, the streets are a little bit because everybody's in election mode. For the most part, it was a very productive day, and I'm grateful. Absolutely
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah. Awesome.
How was
So,
your day, Sherelle? How was your day? How was Las Vegas?
it is fabulous. That's the famous name for it. Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas. Um, the weather is changing, which is a good thing. So it's not as, hot and crazy as it has been. So I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to that. My days have just been beautiful, just learning and growing and doing. And trying to do my best to hold myself accountable to be the woman that I say that I want to be. So every now and again, she still gets a little, shy and timid, but for the most part, she's believing in still pushing forward and doing it anyway. Tomorrow, I have a walk to do. So I've joined this community of ladies, predominantly black ladies, but I believe it's open to all
Really?
women. Yes, that walks. And I did it 2 weeks ago at a park. And so tomorrow I'll be up at 4:15 to get ready to leave the house around. I'm trying to leave around 4:45, and by 6 o'clock, get there by 5:30. By 6 o'clock, we'll be walking. And shout out to um, Pretty Girls Walk, LV.
You just give me an idea. Like you
Yeah.
just give me an amazing idea because I walk, as you know, I walk, but I'm a loner. But this morning, one of
Yes.
my little cousin is visiting from the Cayman Islands, and so I'm like, girl, I walk in the morning, so you're walking, and she came, and so we walked 4 miles, and she absolutely loved it. So we went and looked for other family, members, and we had a great morning. So my walk felt exciting because usually it's just me in the morning listening to a book or something. So I think you just give me an idea to probably start a pretty girl
A
walk
group.
JA.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Hey, you're gonna have to pay me
Ooh.
for that. You have to pay me for
No
that.
problem. No
I will
problem.
send you the link for the club when we get
Yeah.
off here. But they're on Instagram, and
Okay.
it's these two amazing ladies that puts it together. And yeah, the last turnout was, honestly, I want to say about 30 people. It was
Wow.
good. Yes, it was amazing to see us, really, committing to something. And so I'm looking forward to doing that tomorrow. Side
Good.
note. But
Good for
anyway,
you.
welcome everyone. We see that we already have some viewers on here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I forgot to turn my chat on, even though I won't be able to comment back from here, but I can see it. Um, let's talk. Let's talk. All right, there we go. There we go. And it's going everywhere, Dawn. So when I type in my place, it goes over to Soulful Serenity as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, Dawn.
Okay.
So let's get right into it. Let's talk money and mindset. Why money triggers so much stress? Talk to us.
Well, money triggers stress for some people, because some people don't have who don't have it. But on a serious note, though, after oxygen, money is like the currency of life. What can you do without money? You need the basic necessities of life need money: food, shelter, and clothing. You need money to be able to do those things. And that's just the basics of life, Sherelle. So for me, money is the currency of life. And then when you don't have any, or when you don't have enough to take care of the necessities of life, now it triggers anxiety, it triggers fear, and those behaviors can also turn into medical diseases. You know what I mean?
Issues,
People
correct.
start
More
stressing,
issues.
right? People start stressing. You're so stressed about the lack that you're not even understanding that the more you stress about the lack is the more lack the subconscious mind is going to send you, because the subconscious mind's role is to give you what you constantly feed it, right? And so I'm hoping that this is something that we can really, really dive into and break it down for us to understand that we are co-creators of our life. And listen, I didn't always know this. I did not always know this. So I have had some unnecessary stress in my life. But studying psychology and studying the word of God and putting the two together showed me that the the circumstances of my life is a mirror of what I'm carrying on the inside. So if I want to change those circumstances, then what does that mean? It means I have to change the things that I allow on the inside. And so, just to recap, money is a currency of life. So, definitely, just like oxygen, if you're not getting enough oxygen, chances are you might die. So, if you don't have the money that you need to take care of the necessities, the basic needs of life, it is going to lead to stress and anxiety and depression and other mental health disorders.
Yeah. Yes, so true. And as if that wasn't enough, just even more so because of where the economy is nowadays, not just in the US but pretty much worldwide.
Mhm, mhm,
Inflation is drawing closer and closer to us. Things are getting way more expensive, and so sometimes even unconsciously we find ourselves stressing even when we do have the money to take care of the things, because we are stressing over the unknown. We're like, where will this lead
mhm,
to? If I'm now spending an additional $200 per month on food, then that is dipping into something else that I could have, maybe put towards emergency funds or mortgage or school,
mhm.
um, tuition, things like that. So we are stressing off about the now, but I feel like we're also stressing about the unknown, and what's gonna happen. Should I start buying in bulk? Should I start putting things away because we are afraid of the unknown, which of course none of us really knows. But again, that's that mental fear is telling us that there's going to be scarcity around us, and so we're looking to hold on to what we have and maybe not even take actions. I know for us, just to share an example, here in Las Vegas, um it's big on the news right now, because tourism is what runs Las Vegas right now, and
Mhm.
a lot of people are afraid to travel for whatever reason, right? We know that money is one of them, the economy, but there's other reasons. And so I believe it's not necessarily that they don't have the money to travel, but they're thinking, I'm not sure what will happen. I don't feel safe anymore. I'm unsure. So then I don't travel. And when tourists don't come to the city, which this city is so major, it fuels the whole state
Right,
really.
right,
When
right,
money
right.
doesn't come to the city, the workers, right, the local workers, because it's a hospitality industry, then they suffer because a lot of them were using their tips, to rely on, even though there's the argument that, oh, they should have never relied on their tips. But when you've been constantly making these type of tips for 10 years, 20 years, it becomes a part of your income,
It's a
and you've
lifestyle.
been paying rent with it. Yeah, now it's gone and things are very uncertain. So it is triggering a lot of stress in that area, and
But here's the
it's
thing,
carrying
Sarah.
over. Mhm.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was gonna go to the next topic that I have here, which I believe it's carrying over into our relationships and even what I just mentioned, which is our decision making.
Yeah. So I'm gonna come to that, but let me point this out that anxiety comes when you're not living in the present moment. And
Hmm.
anywhere you put your attention is where you put your energies. So if your attention is focused on, oh, this is not happening, I don't have this, I don't have that, the bank is calling, the school is calling, the children are crying, and if that's where your attention is, then it's going to leave you no energy to create. You cannot create in survival mode. And unfortunately, that's where fear keeps you. Fear keeps you in a mode of always running. You're always running, you're always running. So you don't get to stop to become centered where you can think logically. All right. Because even though this is easier said than done, the reality is we truly are co creators of our lives, right? which means that if we are very conscious about that, even if enough money is not coming in, because we have the ability to create, we will be able to figure it out, right? But
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
times, all we're doing is thinking about the haves not, the scarcity. And so it keeps us there and rob us of energy. Now, when you fall into depression, you can't create in depression. You can barely get up, get out of bed to go to the job that you have, right? If you're a small business owner, if you have fallen into depression or anxiety, do you know how much power it takes to get up in the morning and to get out of the bed, right? And so the 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 money and stress a lot of time is based on decisions that we have made. And in some of the other podcasts, especially the one where we spoke about scarcity mindset,
Versus
scarcity
my, yeah, versus abundance. Yeah.
versus abundance mindset. Sherelle, the people that are living in extreme lack, I can almost guarantee you they don't have a budget, they're not disciplined with a lot of things, and they're not making wise decisions. So you have to get to that place where you said, okay, why am I where I am? What decisions led me to be where I am right now? And sometimes we don't want to be accountable. And sometimes we don't want to face the truth. I've been there. I've been there. I've been an entrepreneur for so many years. For over 20 years, I've been an entrepreneur. I've made stupid decisions or lack of decision thereof. And it really, really bring me to some low places financially, devastated. But I
Yeah.
couldn't just blame it on the economy. When I stop and I do my own self-reflection, things that I should have done, I did not do those things. All right. So I just wanted to point those things out because, you know, there's so many times people get up, even now, living in the community in which I live. I see people and you'll hear everybody say, oh, things are hard and times are hard, but nobody even wants to get up and try. There's a young lady who told me that her kids haven't gone to school for months. And so someone reached out to me and said they need someone to work in a shop, in a store. I automatically reach out to that person because I'm thinking, wow, here's a great opportunity. So when I reached out and I said, hey, someone is looking for a worker to work in a store, and she goes, well, I don't do those kinds of jobs. But your kids haven't been to school in weeks, in months. You understand what I'm saying? So most of the time, the places that we are based on decisions that we make. So how do we make better decisions to get us to a different place? Is what I would really love us, to also talk about this afternoon while we're here.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So let's talk about it. Let's stay right there.
Yes, yes,
No,
yes,
honestly, like I love that. I love the practical parts about it, like what you mentioned is that we know that things always have a way of working itself out. And I love that you say that we cannot create in survival mode,
yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, we are still co-creators. So look around you and see the opportunities that are around you, and
Right.
see how you can pivot, so to speak. So continue down that road. I like where you were
So,
going. Talk to
so
us.
Sharon, listen to this. Listen to this. And I always say I'm not trying to preach in here, but God is foundation of who I am. So it is going to come up. God created man to take dominion and to multiply. I want us to understand that we were created to take dominion and to multiply. It means that anything that we are doing, it needs to be times, it's not plus. And that's where
Yeah.
we go wrong a lot of times, right? So we don't want to take responsibility anymore. We live in this microwave society where everybody wants it and they want it right now. So we would rather go fight somebody for what they have worked hard for than us ourselves get up and do the hard work. So when I'll give you a perfect example. Yesterday, um, I made arrangement with two gentlemen to come and help my stepfather because I'm building a greenhouse for my plants. We
Mm-hmm.
made the arrangement. We confirmed the date, the time. Yesterday came. None of them showed up. I'm calling them, not getting any of them. But then these are the same persons, you see them another time and they're saying how things are hard and they can't get any work and they can't. But you got work and you didn't show up. So we have to get to that place where you have to want more. You have to want more. Let
Yeah.
me tell you something, the universe is not going to give you more than you think you deserve or more than you ask for. So if you don't get up and want more, you're never going to become more. You're never going to pull more towards you. And so there was a time when we did, I forgot which one of the episode, but we were talking about this poem, Equipment by Edgar Quest. I don't know if you remember that
Yes.
episode,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have everything the great have had: two hands, 2 feet. Every single human being, unless you were born with some form of deformity, has were born with the same instruments. Whether you're rich, poor, black, white, Chinese, Jew, it does not matter. But we have to get to that place where enough is enough and you want more for your life. Because when you make up your mind that you want more, there's nothing that can stop you from getting more. Because once you tell your subconscious that you desire more, the subconscious takes that as a command and it is finding ways and means. Out of the blue, somebody may just call you about a contract. Out of the blue, somebody may just call you and say, "Hey, I want to bless you with some money." But you have to pull that in. You have to get to that place. And too many people, especially us colored, too many of us, and I'm not knocking anybody right now, but too many of us are living below our abilities and living mediocre when God has called us to do great and amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, powerful. I'm taking notes. I am taking
Yeah,
notes here, Dawn, because it is
yeah,
so true. It is so true. I love that twist. Like I love that you in essence, bring me back to the realization that yeah, it might be a tight economy right now, but there's still so many resources around us. There's still so many opportunities if we truly take our eyes off the lack thereof and start focusing on what it is that we can do. Last week, I believe it was, we talked about, instead of saying, I don't have this and I don't have that and I'm running low on
mhm,
this, to start saying, how can I, right? How can I do this? How can I afford this? How can
yes.
I get a new job? How can I learn a new skill? How can
You know
I
what,
start
Shura?
networking?
In COVID, while you have one set of people who just kept their eyes on COVID and how many people were dying and what the vaccine is doing and who is taking and who is not, there were another group or other groups of people becoming multimillionaires during COVID. Do you have any idea how many businesses started up during COVID because people dug into their creativity, right? So success is always leaving clues. But many times we are too fixed on one thing. We expect the money to come one way. And if it doesn't come that way, then bad luck or whatever it is. But as a man think in his heart, so is he. If you think you have bad luck, if you think you're not deserving of X, Y, and Z, then that's exactly what you're going to get, right? But I'm going to encourage somebody. As a matter of fact, I'm going to challenge someone to shift how you see yourself. You know, start visualizing greater, bigger. I remember when I first thought about going overseas to study. I remember mentioning this at school. Oh my God, I was so laughed at. I was so
Wow.
laughed at because you don't have anybody in America. You're poor. You're from the country. How you think you're gonna get to America? But I believed it, and I kept talking about it. I kept saying, when I go to America to study, when I go to America to study. Well, guess what? Out of nowhere, the opportunity came, and I was able to go to America to study and to excel because I believed it. Even though you have the reality around you, you're poor, your parents are poor, nobody in your family went to college, you live in the country, all the reality existed. That didn't shake me. That was not my reality. Something inside of me told me that I could do this, and I believed it. And this is where I would love for more people to get to that place where they understand that God has created you to take dominion and multiply. If we get into that mindset, this is why Napoleon Hill, you hear these men can write all these books, Think and Grow Rich. So many of the books we have mentioned before, right? As a man thinketh, you can Neville Goddard, his books speak about begin with the end in mind, right? Focus on the end, not your reality, not the things that are going on around you, and watch how your life transform. So I'm saying all of this, but to simplify it, I am saying that we are co creators of the life that we're now living and the life that we would love to live. So, who do you need to become to get there? It means that you may need to read a book, you may need to learn how to budget, something as simple as that. It may mean you stop buying coffee in the morning and save that $6 and add it up. You know, it was my budget, it was my monthly budgets that I do that showed me how much money I was spending monthly at the cafe. So you have the children, life is busy, you pack everybody lunch bags in the morning, you run out. As a mother, most of the time you don't take care of you. You're left for last. So I would just grab a cup of coffee on the way to my office. And one month when I was going through my expenses, Sherelle, I recognized that I spent almost $400 on coffee, just stopping every morning, spending $6, $8, $10, sometimes $15 if you grab a sandwich with it. And I thought, what could I do with that $400? Can you imagine if I was investing that $400? It is compounding. But you know what I do? I bought myself a lovely bottle of Blue Mountain Peak coffee. I bought myself a flavored creamer, and I bought myself a coffee mug, and I start making my coffee in the morning. Do you have an idea how much money that saved me?
four
But I
hundred
would have
dollars
not, yeah, but I would have not known that if I wasn't paying attention. If I
Yes.
wasn't budgeting, Cheryl, I wouldn't know that. So
Yes.
if we're being honest, Cheryl, if we're really, really being honest, and we're writing down where all the monies are going, we would step back at some things. Some of these subscriptions that you don't need. There's some people that have every TV channel, every streaming, and they work
But
9 to 5 and don't turn on the TV more than twice for the week. But you're spending almost $100 with all these streaming places and all these things. The iMusic, iTunes, the i this, the i that. Now I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. But what we're talking about right now is money stress, money, lack of money that leads to stress. And I'm saying if you find yourself, so that's the person I'm speaking to, the person who may be experiencing stress because of the lack of money. That's the person I'm speaking to on this live right now. If you could just stop for a minute and start writing down every single thing you buy, everything you pay for, just write them down. Everybody has a smartphone. Open your notes. You stop at the gas station, you put in $20 gas, record it. You stop, you get a bottle of water for $1, record it. It will give you an idea of where your money is going. And let me tell you something, millionaires know where their money goes. So bear that in mind. At any given time, a millionaire can tell you where their money goes. So if we're not millionaires, why is it that we're not able to say, I'm spending this amount? You know, I had somebody told me once, why should I write it down? I spend the money I have to spend, you know. I need the water, or I have to buy food, or I have to buy gas. So why I need to, if that's the mindset, we're never gonna move past lack. But if we get to the place where you said enough is enough, man, listen, I want to be able to do things and not worry about bank balance. It is so great when you can bless somebody else. One of the a little young lady that I'm mentoring, she passed her exam for her first choice, St. Catherine High School. She lives, and I was able to assist the mom with getting her a book bag. And it's only a book bag, but Cheryl, it felt so good. It felt so good to be able to do that for that mother. I want to do more of that. It takes money.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff, Dawn. So thank you for that. So, guys, if you are just, if you're on Facebook and you see this live, come on in. Come on in. Join us. We are talking about money and stress. And we are not just talking, right? Not just in theory, but we're also sharing personal stories. And most importantly, we have some tips that we would like to forward to you. Don already shared some of them, but we're going to just dive a little bit deeper. So if you're watching, we would like to know if you have any questions regarding this same topic, or even an insight that you want to share with us,
Yeah.
or if you know someone, a family member or friend that might be struggling a little bit with their money and need a little bit of guidance, then go ahead and share this live with them as well. So we thank you for joining us. Like I said, we're looking to do this on a regular basis and to truly build a community that we can help, because one of the things, Don, about money is that it has been such a taboo. People believe that you shouldn't even really talk about money. They find it embarrassing. They find the conversation very uncomfortable, and most often that is one of the reasons why we stay stuck where we are, because no
Right.
one is talking, so we cannot grow, because each person is set in their own world, so to speak. So
Right. Right. Right.
I want us to share three simple strategies to reduce financial stress, right? There's many more, but these are the three that we'll talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, you pretty much mentioned it already when you mentioned budget. It is number one strategy, guys. It's like, all right, already. You've kept your mouth quiet about money for so many years. What has
Mm-hmm.
it got you? So, can we try something different? Everyone is going through it. So, there's no more embarrassment, no more discomfort in talking about money. We need to face the unknown. So, I believe strategy number one is to get clear with your numbers. And you just mentioned it. What's coming in? Funny enough, a lot of people know that, right? Because they know how much money they make, and they look, as
Mm-hmm.
soon as the deposit is made, they check their account. But what if I ask you, what's going out? Can you
And where is it
list the
going?
top 10? Well, right,
Yeah.
correct. What's going out?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it's going, what's going out of your
Mm-hmm.
account? What are you
Mm-hmm.
taking care of? right? Let's talk about that a little bit. You talked about the budget, right? The way you mentioned, that's a perfect story of looking at your statement, which is this is the number one thing. You know how many people are afraid to look at the bank statement? We have got to be open to look at that bank statement, look at the deposits, right? And you just get it in your brain, especially if you do multiple streams of income, right?
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, even if it's just your salary, one deposit, look at deposit. But you need to also take the time to look at those withdrawals. And let me tell you, Don, I know you can agree with this and maybe you can expand a little bit more. It is not the big charges that gets us. It's not the mortgage, it's not the car payment, it's not the personal loan. It's those little charges like you just mentioned, the coffee runs, the subscriptions, the eating out every day, every night, right?
Mm-hmm.
The buying
Mm-hmm.
lunch at work, stopping to get breakfast in the mornings, right? Going to the movies every weekend. And forget it if you're a guy. They're even worse because guys want to entertain the ladies, right?
Mm-hmm.
When us women, you and I will go out together, you get your coffee, I get my
I
coffee.
get my coffee. Yes.
We're having coffee together, right? We're on a
But we're
date. We're having
paying,
coffee.
we're
You
paying
pay
for our
for
own
yours.
cup, of course.
I'll pay for mine. When it comes to men, it's a little bit more difficult for them because that's their nature. They want to treat you sometimes, which we're also trying to get away from, and we'll talk about this on another topic. Sometimes they want to impress, but that's a whole nother topic. Most often, they just want to treat you and make sure that you're having a nice evening, and so they're spending. But these money do add up, Dawn. So let's talk about getting clear with the
Es-
numbers.
Especially when it's not a steady relationship. When it's I'm dating
Correct.
Susie this week and I'm going out with this one, that one.
Yes.
I was sharing with one of my male clients, and I'm like, the best thing you could do for your life is find one woman, settle down with her, and build. You're gonna save yourself so much headache, so much heartache, and you are going to develop wealth from that. All right. So, Sherelle, you hit the nail on the head. Am I able to share screen from here? Is that am I, because I would love to show them even for 2 minutes how to get into Google Doc because
I don't
because
think so. I haven't reached that far in my technology with
okay, it's
with
fine. I saw something that says present, so I wasn't sure how that worked. But what I'm saying though, Sherelle, is a lot of times when people come on, they're saying, okay, but I don't know how to budget. You're saying budget, guys.
I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
There are templates. So let me tell you the one template that I have been using. I discovered it during COVID. If you have a Gmail account, okay, when you go to your Gmail account, there's a little thing to the right of the screen. It's like a little box that you click on it, it gives you all your Google things. You will see you have Google Doc, right? You'll see all
Mm-hmm.
these links. You see Google Sheets. That's what you're looking for, Google Sheets. And on that Google Sheet, you will see monthly budget, yearly budget. All these templates are free, guys. Free. And listen, if you want more information and you just want to sit with either
Yes,
one of
they
us to
can.
walk you through
Yeah.
this, you can contact us. These are some of the things that I do in my coaching sessions. Sherelle also do this when she's doing her consultation. But guys, there are free templates out there that will do the work for you. And all you have to do is plug in the numbers. That's all you have to do. So for me, the fact that I don't want to miss a thing, every time I have a receipt, at the end of the day, I enter all my receipts. And then Google does the calculation for me, right? So there are simple documents, and I'm sure there are other templates. That is the one I
No,
use.
that is perfect right there because it can
Yeah,
also become confusing. But there's so many different apps out there online. Because you're doing it on the phone, it becomes small. I love that idea. So let's stay with
yes,
the Google Sheets.
yes, yes. So definitely, Google Sheets, man, it gives you a summary, and what you do, it allows you to edit. So you can set your budget. Let's say for food, you set it for $400 for the month, okay? And then on another screen, you have your transaction. So you're always working from your transaction. So remember, you set a budget of $400 for food. Let's say today I went out to the grocery store and I spent $90. Okay. I put that in my transaction. When you go to your summary, it's going to show you that you already spent $90. You have $310 left for the month. Guys, it's done for you already, right? Do this with your debt also. A lot of times, and I know I'm probably a pro at debt right now, honestly, because I got hit so hard.
Say that again.
Dur-
You break up a little bit. Say that
oh,
again.
I'm saying I'm probably a pro at talking about debt at this now because I've
Okay.
experienced so much. So during COVID, when I had to close down my business, and then for like 2 years, I had no income, nada, nothing coming in, trying to be creative. You have business loans, you have taxes, you have, because COVID coming didn't mean that the expenses you had went away. It didn't. It's just you stop operating because, and so I
Right.
had to I had to find ways and means to pull myself up out of debt. And so I think sometimes when people see us and we're talking like this, they just think that, we have never experienced debt. We have never been poor. I mean, that's a joke for me when I hear people just, they can't relate to me talking about being poor and living in the country growing up. But that has been our reality. But we learned to be smart. Smart meaning setting specific goals, measurable, attainable, time bound. We got serious and intentional about our lives. I got serious about my debt. And when you talk about not wanting to open the statements, I didn't want to open the loan statements. But in order for you to get help, you have to you have to face the debt. You have to look at those expenses. You have to make those calls. If you need to talk to the bank, if you need to say, look, I am behind 2 months and I don't know what to do. I need some time. Can you look? It is better that you're talking to them. And guys, these are, I didn't read this from a book. Well, the richest man in Babylon taught me this. Don't run away from your debtors. Go see them, talk with them, negotiate with them, right? But then you do the practical things. And you know what? You do have some banks that are just wicked. There's them just wicked and they want the money and them not care. But you do have those people, Sherelle, who will bend backwards to help you. But guess what? If you're not talking about it, nobody is going to know that you need help. So, first things, guys, if you do not have a budget, get one. If you still need help after all the information, you can book a session with me. Sherelle will put the info where you can book online and we can walk you through this and help you get set up. But we're in an economy now worldwide where we really don't have time anymore because it's not going to get easier. Things are only going to get more expensive. Taxes are only going to go up. Interest rates are going to go up. And what are we going to do? So let us get to that place where we desire more and we are going to become intentional about it and also to get the necessary help. All right. And guys, if you have questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments and I'll be happy to assist with any question right now.
Keep talking, my love. I'll be right back.
All right, no problem. All right, guys. So one of the other things that Sherelle mentioned earlier is how money, how money can affect your life, your relationship, your decision making and such forth, right? So all of those things can affect your relationship, because if you come home and you're stressed out all the time, what do you think is going to happen? The other person is probably going to start feeling bad that this is happening, feeling bad that you're probably mad all the time for no reason, or you're angry all the time. And so it is good that, especially in a relationship, that if there's money issues, if there's stuff going on, be sure that you're talking about it. Guys, it's not you against me. You're on the same team. And did you know that the number, or one of the reasons for divorce, is money? Almost
It's the
number
number
one.
third. It's number
Yeah,
three. It's number
right.
third.
Top
It's
three.
number three.
Number right. Right, right. It's in the top three, money.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
because people don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. The churches, if you ever talk about money, you're sinful. Like, and if there's a church that talks about money, you hear that them only preaching prosperity. So it's like, uh, does God not want us to prosper? I mean, when I look at Abraham and all those men in the Bible, they were wealthy people. So I believe that, as the Bible said, man was given permission to have dominion and to multiply. I believe that every single one of us have the ability to create, and to create amazing things, so that we can help those around us. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children, not just his children. When you don't have anything for yourself, what you going to leave for your children's children, right? So let's have the conversations. Let's talk about this.
Yes, guys. Dawn is on here dropping some nuggets. These are really good points. Thank you, Dawn. And you're absolutely spot on. You're so right. Um, money stress leads into relationship breakdown, isolation,
Yeah,
resentment, and eventually it will make it even worse because now you're heading to the divorce court.
yeah, yeah.
And forget it if you have kids. Now we're talking about ACEs.
Yep,
We've talked
yes.
about
But
that many
but you have to
times.
tell them what ACEs means, Terrell.
And then also, I learned it from my sister. And then also, now you're also becoming even more in debt because divorce
And child support,
costs money.
es- especially if
Correct.
you're in
So,
America,
however
child
way,
support.
correct.
Yeah.
I'm talking about America, right? If it's divorce, it's better to stay with us. It's the truth. It's better to stay with the woman than to leave and to get a divorce because yes, if you have kids that are involved, then there's oftentimes child support. But even just you having to run two households now,
Yeah, it's gonna
there's
be
a
hard.
cost for the divorce. And forget it if you have to sell the home and stuff like that. So it becomes, talk about, we have to think long term. And sometimes we think the problems that we're going through are so hard right now, but they could actually be worse. So,
Yes,
as Don
yes.
mentioned in the beginning, become creative. Remember that you are co creator. You are co creator. So,
So we
the
went over
next
number
strategy,
one.
Don,
Right. Yes, yes.
correct.
Number two.
That was strategy number one, which is to get clear with the numbers. Number
Yeah.
two, you actually touched on it without even realizing it because I didn't share this with you, but it is to separate facts from feelings,
Mm.
right? So remember the stories that we tell ourselves. Oh, guys, by the way, I apologize. I talked about ACEs, but I never did break down what it is. Why don't you tell them what it is, Don? You're
Yes,
the expert.
ACEs is the acronym for Adverse Childhood Experiences, and it's those things that a person experience between birth and age 18. Some of it, well, the assessment actually covers abuse, different types of abuse in the home, neglect in the home, mental disease or disorders in the home, domestic violence. So it's a 10-question questionnaire that covers all of those things. And then there are statistics that shows the impact of ACEs on adulthood because it actually has the ability to alter the brain development of the child. All right. So again, if a child has to go through live with parents who are divorced, that's an ace right there for that child.
Yes, yes. Also, if I may add, if we're having the money issues, right, that's another ace because now they're dealing with maybe being bullied at school because they don't have the things that they need, right? They
Absolutely.
don't have the right shoes, the right clothing, and we're
Right.
making it very difficult for their childhood. So that was aces, guys. So number two is
Mhm.
to separate facts from feelings. But I also want
Well,
to
can I add
point
a little
out.
more to that, Sherelle? Can I add a little bit more
Mhm.
facts and feelings? Now, when we're talking about facts and feelings, I know sometimes this is very hard, especially for the women, because we are emotional beings. So we see things emotionally versus a man is very logical. All right. So, Sherelle, whether you like the fact that your husband may say to you, and I'm just using you as an example, your husband may say to you, Sherelle, you can't stop at Starbucks every day this week. Now, instead of you getting up in your feelings and getting upset at him and, oh, you're being cheap and you don't want me to get my coffee and that's my happy space and stuff like that, listen to the facts. The fact is, we're trying to save for a home and you're spending $50 extra on coffee. Honey, it's not that I don't love you, but this is the fact. So when we talk about feelings and facts, let's separate them. Okay. So if I'm saying to Sherelle, my sister, Sherelle, we can't do this trip this year. You know, there's no sense in you getting upset that, oh, why we can't do the trip. It's putting on a credit card, or well, there we go. It's putting it on a credit card that we don't have the money to pay right away. So you're going to pay interest on that over and over and over. So you may end up paying for that trip 6 times based on what the interest is. So
Yes, absolutely.
when two people, whether it's a relationship or what a business, whatever it is, remove the emotions and listen to the facts. And always remember, guys, even if it's you and a business partner, it's not you against your business partner because you guys are on the same team, right? It's the information. You're looking for a solution to a situation. If it's a marriage, and you're having money issues, remember, you're looking for a solution to a situation. It's not your wife trying to put you down, or it's not your husband trying to be mean or trying to be cheap. That's not what it is. And many times that's where the communication breaks down, and something that could have been resolved is now causing more problems.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we have got to start learning to separate the emotions when we're dealing with other people. And Dawn, as you're talking, I'm also thinking about another emotion. What about the emotions that we tell ourselves? For example, when we say to ourselves, I'll never get out of debt, or I'll never pay off this car. you know let's just use the example of the debt. I'll never get out of debt. Let's just say it's a credit card for $2,000.
Yeah.
What are the facts? The fact is I only owe $2,000 on this card. So now I need to break this down to see
Smaller
how
charges.
can I pay correct, as opposed to putting it aside, as we talked about, and not looking at that statement because I'll never get out of debt. I'll never get, and you get emotional like that. And you mentioned in the beginning, what we focus on, that energy, we attract more of it. So you know what will happen
Absolutely.
tomorrow? We'll get another debt because we told the
Mhm.
universe that we'll never get out of debt.
Right.
So
Right.
that is strategy number two. Did you wanted
So
to say anything on that before we move on?
I just want to say a one liner. Guys, when you wake up in the morning, the subconscious mind is saying, Sherelle, what do you want me to do for you today? How you
That's the key.
respond is what you're going to get. And if it means that you have to get up every morning and listen to the same thing over and over and over until you are there, then that's what you need to do. So there's some books that I play when I'm going to bed. It plays through the night. While you're asleep, your subconscious mind is still hearing and still learning. When I'm driving, my car is a university. So guys, look, yes, the debt is there, the reality is there, but the reality is not you. You still have the ability to do anything you want to do, right? Including be debt free and be wealthy, right? So instead of focusing on, man, I'll never get out of it, guess what happened? Say something like, I am so excited. I am on my way to being debt free, you know? And guess what? Act like it. Because you can't say you want to be debt free and wake
Correct.
up with your hand at your jaw and
And
you,
the
it
attitude.
doesn't work like
Yeah.
that. It doesn't work like
You're
that.
lying to yourself and your action tells it.
Yes, yes, yes. Number
Okay.
three, Sherelle, number three.
So strategy number three is to create small, quick wins, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when we take action, that lowers our stress, right? We're no longer, like you mentioned, just thinking about, oh, I'll never get out of debt, and we're stressing. If we're taking the actions, like we're writing things down, like, right, we talked about that. Looking at your statements, writing down your what's coming in and what's going out, doing the budget,
Mm-hmm.
all those actions, that could actually be your first win. We want to challenge you. We want to challenge you on this
Yes.
live. I double dare you, before we meet next Friday, you should do this for yourself and tell a friend to tell a friend to do this as well.
Yeah.
Go to Gmail, create a free Gmail account, and go to Google, right? When you're in your Gmail account, you'll see all the Google Docs. Download the Google Sheets.
You don't even need to
They're
download it.
free.
Just click on it. Yep.
Just click on it and
Click on it.
start
Yeah.
creating your budget, right? What is the budget? The budget is simple, what's coming in and what's going out. That's the first step. Maybe you don't even need to do the budget yet. Write down, maybe they just need to write down everything. Write all your income, write down all your expenses, and just look at it. That is considered a win. That's a win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
taking action.
Sure.
And it might be
Right.
small. And I think that's also where a lot of us get lost, Don, because we're like, oh, that's so small. We want this big thing. We want to see a miracle. But it's sometimes, most often, it's the slight edge. Have you read that book?
Of course.
It's the slight edge. You're doing the same thing over and over, right? It's like eating the fries every day. When you eat
Mm-hmm.
the fries today,
You don't
you
get
will not
fat.
be
Yes.
overweight, right? You eat the fries today. Oh, they said fries are bad. Look at me. I'm still fine. I can still move around. I'm not fat. I'll eat the fries again tomorrow. Oh, nothing, still nothing, right? You keep doing the same bad habits. After a
Mm-hmm.
while, they'll creep up on you. Just the opposite is also correct. You're doing the good habits, right? The
Mm-hmm.
discipline in judgment, right? Doing your budget, avoiding the coffee run, making your own coffee, prepping your food at home, cooking at home,
Yeah.
telling yourself that this week when I look at my bank statement, I will call or go on their website and cancel all the additional TV subscriptions that I do not need, right? Those will make you feel so much better. And remember, you have what's called habit stacking. I'm learning that in the book called Atomic Habits. I'm reading that book
Habits.
right
Yeah.
now.
That's a
Really
good
amazing book
book.
as well. Yes.
Great book.
It
Great book.
talks about stacking stacking the habits, right? You do one good habit while you're doing another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's your challenge, to start the budget. by going to those Google Sheets. But that's what it is, Don. Create small wins. What other wins can you think of that we can create?
Um, you don't have to do this all by yourself.
Yeah.
So I think again, because we don't want, we're so private about it and we don't want people to know how we're doing. We feel like we have to do everything by ourselves. But let me tell you something. If you used to stop for coffee 5 days a week and you stop only 3 days this week, that's a win. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself, you know? Um, just celebrate yourself. And all I could tell you guys is the big picture. There's a quote that says, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. Just start that one step. Back to the Google Sheet again. The budget is already there. The template is already there. So it's already having standard bills. So all you have to do is edit. But most of the things that you are already paying
There is
is
right.
already there. So
There it
all you
needs.
have to do is just add, and then there are some spaces that says custom. You could write in your other thing. So we're living in the information age. You have no excuse. You have no excuse. If you're not good at something, get the help. And you know what? Let me even step out on a limb. Somebody I'm here may be watching and they may not be literate because I've I've come into contact with that. Persons who are very skillful. I'm a farmer, you know, uh, so I'm in a farming group, and some of the people that are in the group don't read and write. So how do I talk to them about budget and stuff like that? Find ways and means. Get creative, right? Get an envelope and put all the money that come in. So you know, every time you have to pay for something, get the receipt and put it in a one envelope. In that case, you need somebody to help you calculate at the end, but don't use that as an excuse. A lot of time, we don't get the help that we need because we're not acting in the capacity in which we can act. Let me give you a good example. One of the recent farming meetings, it was a workshop from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There was a break. There was a 10-minute break about 11 o'clock. So I went outside just for a breather. A lady came out and she said, all this talking is not helping me, some money I want. And I thought to myself, wow, out of all that talking, I already made some connections. I already written on my phone a proposal based on the information that I'm getting from the training. Written a proposal to the forestry department, Sherelle. So, which I have a site visit this upcoming week because I'm going to partner with them to create um, kind of like an eco forest where people, they can even do some of their trainings about the different trees and plants and stuff like that. Here will be a space where they can use as a display. All of that came out of that meeting. But you hear what this lady got? All this talking can't help me. Why am I sharing that? I'm sharing that because we have all kinds of people watching from all kinds of background. And we want you to know that even if you don't know how to use a phone, if you don't know how to text, if you don't know how to use a computer, if there is help for you, and you don't have to try to figure this out on your own. Help is there. Contact us. That's what we do. We will help you. But don't lose out on the profits that you could be making because you shy away and say, Tro, I don't know how to use the computer and I don't know how to do this and I don't know how to do that. All right. So, guys, there are so many ways. that we can become better. But as a race, and I keep stressing this because nobody taught us this. Nobody taught us that as Black folks, well, at least not for me, nobody taught us to balance checkbooks. As a matter of fact, the first time I had a checking account was college, and I forgot what it was for. And I was like, why do I need a checking account? I'm not writing checks for anything. And she said, how are you gonna pay your bills? This is when I just there and I'm in school and I'm alone. And she's like, you have to pay, you have to send a check in the mail to pay your bills. Coming out of Jamaica, I never hear those
And she
things.
said, how are you gonna?
Did you know that's when accounting start making sense to me? Because in accounts class, when you're supposed to do bank reconciliation and all those things, I had no clue. If the teacher was bringing a checkbook to the class, we probably would have understood better. So, guys, I'm saying here we're getting the information now. We're getting the information now. Let us use these little tools that are out there and monetize all our skills. The Lord says, Proverbs 18:16, a man's gift make room for him and bring him before kings. Not how many degrees you have, not where you're from, not who your mama and your papa, not where you live. A man's gift, it means those gifts that God has blessed you with. That's what's going to make room for you. That's what's going to bring you before kings. But you have to know how to manage those gifts.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Don. Good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, help is definitely out there. There's so many different ways. I know, as we mentioned before, money is a very sensitive topic. And so we understand that, yes, you're not just going to talk to anybody. You have to find that individual that can, confide in, someone that you can build trust with. However, and that's, if you're really not able to, as Don mentioned, read the information and articulate the information. However, if you are someone that can read, you really want to do your own research, right? You want to make sure, because
Mhm.
don't just also trust people, right? It's good to trust and have someone that you delegate things to, but you also need to know your numbers. You need to
Right,
understand what's
right.
going on. So you need to do your research. But I want to point out this quick facts to you, Don, surprisingly, because today I was on another webinar, and this person was talking about money, and believe it or not, the person actually mentioned how the churches, I'm not sure, unconsciously have this taboo about money and don't want to
Oh
talk
yeah.
about money, don't want people to talk about money. However, I'm not sure if they're aware that the Bible contains 2,350 verses that reference money, wealth, and possessions.
Yep.
This is more than the Bible talking about love, heaven, and hell combined.
Mhm.
So between hell, which they love to talk about, heaven, and Jesus, and also love, right? The
Mhm.
Bible talks about money 2,350 different times.
Yeah.
So it is very important. If it wasn't, that wouldn't be a clue. And we know that majority of people are so religious, right? And
Especially in
so
Jamaica.
even,
Especially in Jamaica.
well, that's, I guess that's where we know, we don't, that's what we're used to, I guess. That's what we
Look,
know, the Caribbean, and oh, maybe Africa too, I don't know.
worldwide, Jamaica has the most churches per capita.
Yeah,
Worldwide, right?
yeah,
And I'm not saying this based on something I've heard or read. I'm saying this because this is what I know. I remember
yeah.
doing pre network marketing and invite persons from church to a meeting. They were so turned off and annoyed that I would invite them to such a thing. And it makes sense why. And we're not here to knock the church because, guys, let me just say this. I've been in church 35 years, and loving God is the best decision I've ever made for my life. But Paul wrote that you need to seek out your own salvation. And during COVID, I studied the book of Proverbs and I've read Proverbs, but this time I studied it. And let me just open up your eyes. Don't you feel better knowing that if your kid gets sick, you don't have to go borrow money from somebody to take them to the doctor? Just process that for a minute. It's back to school now. Don't you feel better knowing that you can pay that bank voucher and confidently send your kid to school without the office telling you the kid is not allowed in class today? No, I'm not telling people to go rob and kill others for what they have, but I'm telling you that the Bible says a man's gift will make room for him. The Bible, money solves all things. Now, the one scripture we know, money is the root of all evil, and that's not what it says. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. So if all you get up and talk about is, oh, I want to make this money, I want to get that money, and you treat your husband bad, or you treat your wife bad, and you treat the kids bad, and you don't come home because you're chasing that money, then you have a problem because you need balance. But let me tell you something, or at least for me, I have moved away from any church or any conversation that is going to make, or at least try to make me feel um, righteous by being poor. That's not biblical and that's not godly. That's not godly. There are too many people in the world that needs help. And the churches are not doing more because the churches don't have the money to do more. And we're not teaching people biblical principles. You know, in the country, I hear people say, oh, the people them don't work and them don't have any money to give. You're robbing them of their own blessings, okay? Because when the Bible teaches to give 1/10, God don't need anybody money, Cheryl. It's a principle for you to help you to thrive more in your life, right? So those principles, we're not teaching principles enough. I remember one young lady when I was doing Demery, and I remember teaching on tithing. What does it mean to tithe? And I remember saying that you may not have a job, but you're so good at cleaning houses, and you have two little old people in the house in the church. Why don't you sacrifice one day out of the week and even go help them clean up their house? That's a form of tithing your time if you don't have the money. A young lady said to me, Dawn, I never even saw it like that. Did you know that's how I got accounting help? Somebody wanted to tithe their time and their skill of accounting to my business. I watch her now doing amazing things, teaching accounting at the university,
That's
holding
awesome.
down an amazing. So I am saying, guys, let us get to the place. You're unsure about something? Ask God Himself. Just like we're talking to you now, ask God, okay, God, if you're up there somewhere, in here somewhere, show me what it really, really means. Show me for myself. God doesn't want nobody to be poor because when you're poor, you become a slave to debt. And you can't serve God when you're anxious about if your light are going to turn off or if they're going to come kick you out of the house. God does not get your best. Anyway, that's a different conversation.
Okay, Miss Jamaica. The pot will come out, boy. But good stuff, good stuff, and that's pretty much what we wanted to share today, Dawn. We wanted to open up by just attacking these sensitive but necessary
Yeah.
topics, right? And get into the conversation. In future lives, we'll talk about the budget, right? We'll go a bit deeper. Now we'll get more practical.
We'll
We'll talk
show
about,
them. We'll show them.
yeah, we'll talk about the budget. We'll also
Yeah.
talk about how to get out of debt.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also talk about how to create an emergency fund so that you're not relying on just credit cards to pay bills. And we'll also talk about, multiple streams of income, how you can become more creative in creating multiple streams of income in your household. So that is it. Again, like I said, if you're just seeing this live, be sure to go back and watch it from the beginning. Make sure that you share it with others that need to hear this story so that we can all learn and grow together. And Dawn, just before we go, tell us what's happening with you, and then we'll also talk about what's coming up next.
Oh, yes. So, guys, especially for those of you in Jamaica, September 27th, it's a Saturday. We're having our 1 day wellness retreat. Um, the last one was just phenomenal. It was sold out. We had an amazing time of food, fun, fellowship, workout session, wellness session. This time we are going to be splitting the men from the women. We're going to be talking about self-love for the women, loving her, learning how to set boundaries, taking care of yourself, dealing with stress, and still remain beautiful. And then for the guys, we're going to be talking about the moments demands, because a lot of time there's so much that we require from our men, and it's hard showing up in the moment that you know is demanded of them. And so I'm really, really looking forward to that. We are going to have great food, healthy food, of course, lots of games, etc., etc., etc. All right, so the link will be placed in the chat. So definitely, guys, you have to register, because we don't want to overbook and then we're not properly prepared. I am sure you would not like to show up on the day and there's not enough food. Okay. So it's important that you register using the link so that we can have a proper count. And you don't need to come alone. If you're a guy, grab another brethren or two and register and come. And if you're a girl, grab your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, or a girlfriend. Just last one we had a father daughter, we had a mother son, they were just hanging out. So let's come together, relax, rejuvenate, because you're worth it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And we also know that should someone need professional counseling, that you're also available as well online. So you counsel online at that same website that's in the chat, guys, soulfulserenityja.com. So you can definitely reach out to Dawn that way and also get registered for the retreat. As she mentioned, we'll continue to share this information. But guys, that's pretty much it. This is called Friday Connect, and we're going to be having more visitors, more guests with us in the future. Remember that money doesn't have to control your peace of mind, right? So every week we're gonna just get with Dawn. She's gonna continue to share all these deep insights with us, um, practical strategies as well as personal stories, because we are all one. We're all going through most of the same things together,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And so make it a date. Make it a date. Set it on your calendar and join us. And this time there wasn't much conversation in the chat, but hopefully you will, as you go back and watch it, you will have some questions for us. Go ahead and write them down, or you can DM us privately and we'll have them
Mhm.
ready for you for the next session. So that's what I want to say, Don. Oh, of course, don't forget to follow Project Purpose Podcast,
Ah!
right? We talk a lot about money on the podcast as well, but we also talk about clarity, finding clarity, finding purpose, gaining confidence. It is both
Mhm.
for the man and the woman. So be sure wherever you find your podcast, wherever you listen, to just research, search for Project Purpose Podcast, and you want to write that whole name out, right? Because apparently there's a few Project Purpose out there. So you want to find the right one with Sherelle Mohammed, which is Project Purpose Podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. You're going to be seeing a lot more of us. We thank you in advance for your support, and we want you to know that we're building this community with you in mind. We want to make sure that we're just, here for you as we learn. We are teaching it, right? And we're all
Yeah,
learning and
yeah.
growing together. Any final note, Dawn, before we let you go tonight? Go enjoy the rest of your
Um,
beautiful evening.
just grateful for this platform, and want to encourage persons, anybody who come across this, if you have questions, DM us. Okay, we are looking forward to connecting with you. All right, and let me tell you something, regardless of what your history has been with money, we're all deserving of freedom. And again, the Bible says the borrower is a slave to the lender. Don't be a slave. You don't need to be a slave. So follow the podcast, Project Purpose Podcast. Follow the podcast. Follow Soulful Serenity JA and our social media platform. And let's connect. We're looking forward to developing this community. And if there's a topic that you would want to learn more about, again, send us a DM and we'll be happy to have a conversation with you. All right, guys. Thank you. And thank you for watching.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dawn, for joining. We just love having you and looking forward to many, 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 many more. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful evening, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.